Hey, welcome back to the channel, GlampLanders. It's hard to believe it's been 1 year since I got behind the wheel of my 2024 Subaru Outback Wilderness. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what it's been like with 1 year of ownership and just a tad over 22,000 miles. We'll go over the exterior, we'll talk about the interior, the performance, the tech, and some of the mods. So stay tuned and let's get to it. The first thing is the outside. I think that the body style and just the wilderness styling has worked very well. You guys know what I'm talking about when you walk out and you just smile because you see your car, because I think it still looks incredibly good. You know, the Outback, I guess kind of the Outback body style has been around for a bit, but I definitely think when the 2024, the refresh made it look really, really good. One thing that's really great about these is the lighting. The lighting on these is super bright. You have no problem seeing down the road if you're bright. If anything, the issue that other people probably have a problem with them, because I know when my wife is behind me and I drive a Sequoia, it always feels like I'm getting bright lighted even when I'm not, because they're just that good. My model, which I think is standard on the Wilderness, has the adaptive headlights, so they turn as you go around the curve. Just really great out here. You can see deer, other animals way ahead of time. So the lighting, superb. Styling, superb. The suspension, the ground clearance has been great. Not doing any rock crawling with this, but you know, here you have driveways, hills. We have been on some like gravel roads type things. So the suspension, ground clearance has been phenomenal. The tires, while not my favorite, they've held up well. I mean, 22,000 miles, 98% on the road. But this car has been to Houston 3 or 4 times and Minnesota once. So it definitely has seen a lot of highway miles, and they've held up phenomenally well, whether in heavy rains or in dry driving. So no problems there. The suspension is set up. It's a great blend of, it's stiff and sporty, but it doesn't beat you to death when you're on the road. So from that standpoint, has done really well. One thing that I did do with mine is I did add some mods. I put on the CA tuned bumper bar and added 2 Harbor Freight Road Shock LED lights. Like I just said, the Subaru lights themselves are great. These add just extra punch to get, you know, your vision out down through there. 100% not needed. Let's be real honest. Both of those mods are as much for aesthetics as for purpose, but they do look really good, so I like them. I also added 2 crossbars at top, which I guess if I had a complaint about the exteriors, those should come with a Outback Wilderness. You're buying this vehicle to do things in the outdoors, so the fact that you have to buy those aftermarket or at the dealership is a little cheap by Subaru, in my opinion, because the price on those can be expensive. Whether they roll it into the price of the car or not, just add them. They should be there, Subaru. Get with it. One dislike, and I don't think this is a Subaru issue in particular, but the paint nowadays just does not hold up like, in my opinion, it used to. Not trying to be like that old guy, get off my porch, but it does feel like, I believe the EPA has changed some stuff, so I just don't think paint's as hard as it is. And then one of the mods I had that I got for the car is on eBay, and if anybody's interested, hit me up in the comments. I got these carbon fiber, the cup plates that go behind the door handle. They're a little larger than just the kind of plastic ones, and at least on my black one, they kind of hide, but the car would get really scratched up. I assume just from like my wife's fingernails. But the weird thing was, you would see those kind of scuff marks coming on all 4 door handles, and it's just me and my wife. So I mean, we have friends that ride with us, but it's not like where she would get in constantly. So just the paint doesn't seem to be very strong. I really don't think that is a Subaru issue in particular, but just something to watch out for, especially with the black one. Otherwise, everything has been fantastic with the exterior. Talk about performance. The 260 horsepower Boxster motor delivers everything you need. You have enough punch with merging, passing, to get out on the interstate, no problems. The motor itself in the car is fantastic. The CVT, while not a letdown, it's definitely not a strength of the car. I'm not a big fan of CVTs. I can't say that we've had issues with this one, The only time that I ever noticed a problem is we had a cabin in Tennessee around the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, and it was really steeply graded. And by the top, when we got there, you could kind of, I don't want to say it was burning because I don't want to over dramatize the effect, but you could definitely, you could tell it was hot. You could smell the heat from the CVT, which is a little concerning if you were actually out in the mountains, you know, in a more precarious situation, but nothing happened. You could just tell the car was working. So not a massive fan of the CVT, but the motor is phenomenal. MPGs on the highway, you know, coming from 4Runners, I drive a Sequoia, so maybe our standards are a little jaded. On this last trip my wife just went on, she got 28 miles per gallon, just a tad over while driving to Houston, which I think is good. You know, the Wilderness is not your high mileage, high MPG Subaru. If you want those, there's other models. I know they changed the gearing in the back so that the Wilderness can tow more, so it affects your mileage. So 28, I would think, is going to be about as good as you can get on the interstate. Around town, that gearing really hurts you, and we probably get somewhere, you know, in the winter, I think it's winter gas is worse. We probably get in the low 20s, 21. We also start the car because it's cold, but even here in the summer, riding around town, 22-ish, give or take a little bit. So if MPGs are your ultimate goal, the Wilderness is probably not for you. They make other Outbacks with different gearing and I believe smaller motors. So, but for what it is and what it can do, MPGs is good. And like I said, for us, we were pleasantly surprised. The interior has held up amazingly well. The Softex vinyl, I guess, is kind of what it is done really, you know, as Subaru talks about, they are pet friendly. That is the case. Well, we have our dog with us a lot. It's easy to vacuum up pet hair. I've seen where people have talked about having tears or stuff in cars in their interior. That has not happened to us. Our dog jumps in, jumps out, and we have not seen any tears, rips. It looks brand new. I mean, literally after 22,000 miles in a year of ownership, the interior looks like it just walked off the dealership. So that part has been great. The materials, I feel like they're all soft touch around you. So if the car has a more premium feel than the cost, and especially for like an off-road machine, which is nice when you're on long road trips, as well as if you're on gravel roads. I guess the plus and minus of the interior is the screen is great. It's very high resolution. Apple CarPlay looks great on it. I have a problem with wireless Apple CarPlay. I don't believe this is a Subaru issue. I travel for work, and so I see this issue with other vehicles. Sometimes I just can't get it to work. Stacy, when she was driving back from Houston, actually had to pull off an exit because CarPlay quit working, so she didn't have navigation, and she had to get off the exit, start the car, turn the car back on, and her phone, and then it started working again. So I don't know if that's a Subaru issue or an Apple issue, but I missed just when you plugged in and got CarPlay. So probably not as tech forward as what people would like to hear, but I miss plugging in. It's also a pain when you have to switch drivers and you want to switch wireless CarPlays. At least it has been for us. Two other things about the screen. The rear view camera, Subaru, you got to do better. It's like they upgraded the screen, the camera in the back. While you can still see, and you can see okay, it could be much more high resolution. And with that beautiful screen that you have, I don't see why they wouldn't use more of it. So hopefully they can fix that in their next model update. And then this is personal preference, but I am not a fan of having the AC controls embedded with the screen. So your fan's always available to you to turn up and down, and you can turn the temperature up with hard buttons. But if you want to change the air direction, those kind of things, you have to go into the menus, which that's not too bad, but then you have to hit the little X at the top to minimize that. It eventually goes away, but still, just a little bit of a pain. Talk real quickly about eyesight. It's another love-hate type thing. I know we could turn a lot of that stuff off, but then you lose the benefits of having the safety stuff. So we have left it on. For road trips, fantastic. I think you arrive more fresh because between the radar cruise and the lane centering that basically keeps the car there as long as you keep your hands on the wheel. They'll never say it's like driving itself, but for the most part, it drives itself as long as you're kind of on the interstate, and I'm sure Subaru doesn't. Again, keep your hands on the wheel and you got to pay attention, but it will definitively keep your car in between the lines. So it's I don't know, it's almost like you don't have to use as much of your mind while you're driving, so you arrive fresher. On the country roads, thing beeps all the time. It's crazy. I said it in one of my other videos talking about the Subaru, but we need a country mode. So that way when we're cutting corners, because everything's like this, the Subaru would just know, hey, you're in country mode. So it's okay if we do that. Interior room, the back seats, we've had some folks with us on road trips. Plenty of room. The heated back seats are really nice on cold days, so a really nice option there. And then the cargo area in the back, plenty of room. If you really need more room than that, then you're probably going to be looking at a full-size SUV like a Tahoe Expedition, New Sequoia, those type of things. So overall, for the year we've had it, it's been a phenomenal car. I guess the key question you would ask someone who has had a car for a year is, would you buy it again? And the answer is mostly yes. One reason we got this is even though car prices are crashing now, at the time a year ago, it was crazy what dealerships were trying to charge for used cars and even some new cars. And the deal we got for this new was better than some of the 4Runners and stuff we were looking at. So we do like the car. It's been great to us. It's never let us down in any situation. Wasn't looking for a Subaru when I got it, but I would definitely recommend, if you're looking for a great on-road car that will take care of you in any situation, like the all-wheel drive, like you don't have to hit any buttons, like my wife can just drive. It's just great. It's a safe, fantastic car. So I would say for most people, absolutely, it is a great buy. I don't know that I would buy one again, but that's my personal preference. Not that I don't think that the car is good. So that was pretty wishy-washy and not a good way to end the video. But let me know in the comments what you think. Would you buy a Subaru? Do you have a Subaru? What do you think about it? Anyway, if you got this far, I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. We have some new things coming up on the channel that I wouldn't want you to miss it. Thanks.